Good morning, students. Welcome back to our class. Today we are going to learn about the important topic of innovation management. The second chapter, that is the allocation of funds to R&D and projects. So, coming to the allocation of the funds are allocated in different way. That means it involves R&D involves risk. It can be a risk and profit. It can be a cost. It can be an investment. That means what is the uses? What are the allocations of the funds for R&D projects? The R&D projects nowadays are utilized for taking the risk and making the profit. Whenever a business wants to start its business or a company wants to start a business, the main concept is to earn more profit. As you know that more profit means more risk. So how much profit you will gain in future, that much risk you have to pay, or you will get it. And what is the cost, how much the cost should be there, and how much the investment should be there, we'll learn one by one. So here, coming to the factors, that means the key factors for allocating the resources to R&D. That means the first one is long term and short term. We are having, first we'll go for the long term needs. What are the long term needs of the factors for R&D? Generally a time frame for investing in which all an asset is held for at least 7 to 10 years. In business accounting measures, long term can be a period of time that exceeds 12 months. As you know, students, that some business consists of the long term and some business consists of the short term or medium term. So minimum the long term business, which will learn like durable goods will be there, which will be there for a long term, and the asset value will also be good for the long term. So what we are saying that what is the time period for the asset for the long term needs is 7 to 10 years. In business accounting measures, long term can be period of time that exceeds 12 months. It can be more than a year long term according to the business accounting. Now, what are the expenditures we have to bear in the long term? Expenditures in fixed assets like plant and machinery, land and building, etc. are funded by long term. See, whenever a business want to start, their main concept is to start the business with the long term. And what is the main goal? Land and building. What is the building? What the land we should have to get? What are the resources we have to get? The water, electricity, power bill. And third one, sufficient air and water, and atmosphere should not be should not be getted uh, circulated with the peoples. That means it should be far away from the city or from the town, and there should be no peoples residing. That means it should not be a residential area, and they should have to get the proper water service for utilizing the water in the company or organizations unit like manufacturing factory or industry. So, and there should be a proper drainage or the wastage which is coming out from the company or the industry should have to go. That means proper drainage should be there and the workers should be there. So proper planning of the building instructions should be there. How much floor it should be, how much land it should have to need, how much height, what should be the height of the land, and what should, from where should we can get. That means easy getting of water should be there, easy electricity should be there, and easy cooperation from the government sector should be there. If in case of the industry got fire, the ambulance or the fire existence, that means these people should have to come easily. It should not have to be a danger or should not be a rescue for them. So all these things the manufacturing people should have to keep in mind, and while manufacturing the land and building they should have to keep these symptoms in mind, and they have to make the building structure. Once a building will be made, the structures, it can't be moved and it should have to be fixed. That means building will be fixed at a time. So proper planning should be there. What is our product, what sort of machines are coming, which machine should have been installed in which place, and which extension should be at which place. That means all the proper planning should be there. Now coming for the land machinery, plant and machinery, what is our plan? That means what is, by seeing the building, that means what is the machinery size, length, height, they have to measure. According to that they have to make the columns, or they have to make the roofs or rooms, whatever it may be according to the situation. Now what are the plans? That means once the plant will be fixed, it can't be moved for a long term. So moving of goods is different from one place to another place, but these goods which are fixed for a long term, those are plant and machinery which can't be moved afterwards. Once it got fixed installed, that means installation will be take place or assembly will take place of the goods of the long-term machines, so it will be different one. So all these things, the long-term funds, that means land and buildings and the plant and machinery and some other things which will comes into fixed assets, will be have some expenditures we have to go for it. So what are those long-term source of funding? Can be in the form of, yeah, spelling mistake, yeah, in the form of equity shares. It can be in equity shares, preference shares, debentures, loans, bonds, financial institutions, and retaining earnings, what it may be. We know that when a company wants to start its share, it will go with the small shares, equity shares, or preference shares, or the bond equity bonds, or debentures, loans, and it will contact with the financial institutions, sometimes banks too also. Now we'll go for the long term. Now short term, that means long term is over. Now we'll go for the short term. Short term needs is nothing but capital projects that appear in the early to mid phases of the tactical planning horizon. Depending on the age of the building, these projects occur during the childhood life stage and the adolescence life stage of the building. See what is happening depending on the age of the building. Maybe the building has been constructed 10 years back and it is going to be destroyed after 2 or 4 years, or we can utilize a building for upcoming 4 years or 2 years or 6 months or 2 months, what it may be. Depending on the age of the building, these projects occur during the childhood life stage and the adolescent life stage of a building. So we should have to be very careful for this. Now what is the size of the fund? Size of the funds is nothing but assets under management. Whatever the assets are managing under long term and short term will refer to the total market value of the asset that are simply managed by the mutual funds. See, AUM refers to the total market value of the asset. Total market value of the asset that are being managed by the mutual fund. Simply put, assets under management or fund size are the overall value of the capital held by the mutual fund in the current market. See what is they are saying? Assets that manage, that means whatever the assets are managing under the fund size are overall value of the capital held by the mutual fund. Whatever the value of the assets will be there, that will be managed by the mutual fund, who is going to be giving the loans, or the banks and the financiers, or depending on the shares, what is the value of the asset. Depending on the value of the asset, they will get the amount, or they will get the fund. That means what is the size? That means for a building, for example, a building is there which is in Hyderabad, same building is there which is in the outside of the states. So here the market value and the government value will be different from place to place. So that's the difference we will get, depend on the value of the asset. The same building is there, the same size is there, but the value of the building differ as it is near to the city, whereas that another building which is in the far away, which is far away from the districts and villages also, so that value is very less. The rent will be had to be very less comparing to the building which is near to the city. So all these things, that means here we want to secure that what is the value of the asset, it will be taken place by the mutual fund peoples, or the bank peoples, or the current market peoples. So depending on it, that will be focused on the size of the building, size of the fund. Yeah. Now what is happening now? Conflicting demands will be there when different parties each make claims that are not in agreement with one another. See, if what will happen when we are starting the size fund, the conflicts will may demand. Why? Because different parties, either it can be from different persons or the organizations, each make claims that are not in agreement with one another. That means they have to make an agreement with one another, so that there should not be any kind of conflicts in future. For example, a company is there where they are having four partners by the name A, B, C, D. So A and B partners, their names are not there in the agreement. Then what will happen? There may be a clashes will come place, or the conflicts will come place. So whatever the things the company want to start, or when they are generating the funds, they have to make the agreement between all the parties and should not have to come for the conflict. So to nowadays they are going for the legal terms, that is nothing but the agreement or the agreement we can say are an affidavit which is taking place between the parties. Yeah. Now we will go, and this by this we can say that there are chances of conflicts will are reducing in the organization. Now we will go for the backlogs. A product backlog is a list of new features, changes of existing features, bug fixes, infrastructure changes, or other activities that a team may deliver in order to achieve a specific outcome. See what's happening. All these are the things from now backlogs. A product backlog is a list of new features. What are the new features are coming in the product? What are the changes are coming in the existing product features? Are bugs fixes? Are infrastructure changes? Or other activities that a team may deliver in order to achieve a specific outcome? Whatever the team is taking for the outcome, they are going to achieve with the help of adding the new features or existing the features and infrastructure changes. Depending on all these activities, they are going for the backlog. That means the product backlog will be taking place. Now here one more thing, competitors funds. How the competitors funds used by the competitors? See, internal funds we are having and external funds we are having. See when the how the funds are utilized by the competitors. How much fund he kept for the reserve and surplus. How much fund he has kept for advertisement. How much fund he has kept for future. How much fund he has kept for repairs and maintenance. How much fund he has kept for building, salaries, wages, miscellaneous expenditures. Depending on that, it is a duty of the competitor or in the market or the R&D department that they have to keep some funds for their future. Like a building need repairs and maintenance, the machinery needs maintenance, repairs and maintenance. Sometimes there will be a hike in the salary or hike in the purchasing products. That means when we are purchasing the raw materials or the middle or assembled products for our company, we will generate that the cost of this product XYZ product is so and so lakhs, but all of a sudden because of some changes in the market, the prices will go high or it will increase. So we have to keep some amount for that we should not have to bear all these future problems. Like for example in the given goods, what is the given goods formula in economics, that when the prices are increasing, when the goods may also decrease, when the demand of the goods will also increase. When the demand of the goods will increase, the prices will also be increasing. So when the shortage of the goods will also be there. See for example in the lockdown, the people are more bothering about the eatable items, food items. So what is happening? The price of the bread, which consists of 30 or 40 rupees, now they may increase. If you want this, you have to pay 80 rupees, double rate or 1 by 4th rate extra they have to pay, because there is no supply of goods from other resources. So what is happening? They are losing this money, and to generate those income, they are hiking the price of the product, and the people are getting trouble. Now, like that only, the every company nowadays are keeping some competitors funds. That means when the competition is utilized in the market, depending on the situation condition, they do have to utilize those funds. Now coming to the competition funds, they are having two types of funds. One is internal funds, another one is external funds. Now what do you mean by internal funds? Internal funds are those funds when money that a person or a company raises from within to begin or expand operations. Internal funds often form a company seed money. Companies, that is, one may start a company with one's own funding rather than with a loan. So what is happening nowadays? Own companies, internal funds are those funds is utilizing. It's like a seed. When we sow the seed in under the ground, after a time being we'll get the plant. From plant we'll get flowers, fruits, etc. Like that, every company nowadays, what they are utilizing the internal funds, and it's like a money seed. They are keeping some amount within the company and owning that other than with a loan. In place of taking loan from banks or other financial institutions, and they have to repay the amount with high interest, then it is not good for the company. It is a waste of time, money, and efforts. So what is happening to reduce all these things? Every company nowadays, they are keeping some internal funds with them to generate for future. Now here, external funds. Now what do you mean by external funds? The funds that are raised from sources outside a firm. The monies that are received, expenditure, The monies are received from the sale of stock and bonds are external funds. Firms may seek external funds when they are unable to finance expenditures with money generated from operations. See, for external funds, that means external use, we need some financial expenditures with money generated from operations. External affairs will be there, like need to get the permission from the government, to go with the social tactics, and they have to pay some deposit with the government office sector to make the society to come with the societal problems, external political problems, geographical problems. All these things will come under the external problems or expenditure. So we need the external fund for running this. So here I am having a picture where you can able to understand how the finance should be there and how it will focus on it. See, financing will be having internal financing, external financing. Internal financing they will get by self-financing by retention of profits or financing through depreciation of provisions. That means whatever the things will be there, they have to go for all these things and they'll focus on the work. That means whatever the work is taking place within this criteria, they will go for it. Like self-financing, as I was saying that we have to keep some amount. Every company nowadays they are keeping some funds for their meeting their internal needs. Like that, we are having external financing. Debt financing is there, equity financing is there, mezzanine financing, the special forms are there. So all these things will come under the external financing, like debt financing, credit loans, overdrafting, or crowdfunding. Equity financing like business angels, ventures, capital companies, crowdfunding, crowd investing, are special forms like business angels, venture capital companies, crowdfunding, or crowd investing, like mezzanine financing, dividend rights, certificates, convertible bonds, or warrant bonds. All these things will come under the financing of external financing. So these are the terms where we are using for our R&D in our second unit of innovation management. So I hope students you have understand the term. We'll go for our next topic in tomorrow. Please mention your roll numbers in the comment box. Thank you.